We had a good open week this past week. It came at a good time for us. We had a couple of guys that were a little banged up from the first 5 weeks of the season. We had a couple of shoulders and a couple of ankles and things here and there that last week was really good for us to give those guys a chance to get in the training room and get those ankles well. We had 2 or 3 guys that were hobbling around on sprained ankles. Stockton Mallett, played he really played the whole Arkansas State game and Abilene game on a bad ankle. Gilberto Garcia at offensive guard was kind of in that same boat. Both those guys didn't practice the Tuesday before we played Arkansas State. They were in boots and on crutches, and then on Wednesday they got out and were able to practice, and then played 2 games with a bad wheel. So this past week really gave them a chance to and some of the guys that had a shoulder. Chris Chambers against Abilene Christian didn't play any defense. He played a lot of special teams, but he had a shoulder, and that thing was 100% by the time the week was over. So the open week came at a great time for us to be able to get some guys healthy and get them refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to go. We gave the guys off Saturday, let them get completely away, and then came back on Sunday and really started putting in the game plan for McNeese. Last week we introduced McNeese to them and had 3 good work days of just showing them their base stuff, their normal down and distance, 1st and 10 type stuff. And then Sunday night, which I guess was last night, we started putting in the rest of the game plan. Today is a player's day off again to focus on academics and give them today will be good for them again because we had a good night last night. We'll give them another day to get back juiced up and ready to roll. Tomorrow we'll have a good practice Tuesday, a good practice Wednesday, and then a refresher deal on Thursday. We'll load the bus up Friday morning and go from here to Shreveport and eat lunch and then load back up and travel on down to Lafayette. Spend the night in Lafayette. We're going to stay about an hour and 10 minutes away from Lake Charles and get us a good night rest on Friday night, and then get ready to play a very good McNeese football team. McNeese, Steve talked about some of the stats of where we're at offensively and defensively. We're leading the conference in rush defense. We're giving up it's in the 50s rush yards per game. McNeese is giving up they're second. They're giving up about 88, 92 yards a game rushing. So they're not giving up 100 yards rushing, which they're very, very good on defense. They've lost 3 games this year. They lost to Stephen F. in a close one, in a 3-point ball game. Could have went either way, a play here or play there. They lost to Southeastern, which that game could have gone either way. I mean, it was this past Saturday night, Southeastern was basically running the clock out. There's 50 seconds left. McNeese had just scored to tie it up, and you could see on first down, Southeastern runs out there, and then they had decided, they lined up with a tight end and all that, and took the snap and handed it to the back and ran it up the middle and got 2, and they were, both sides were content to let the clock out. You can see the receiver go over and tell Ron, hey, I might have a chance here, give it a shot. And so the next play, they give it a shot and throw it up, and McNeese's defensive back tipped it and falls on the ground. And Southeastern's guy catches it and takes it 82 yards for a touchdown. So that's how they win that game with 8 seconds left on the clock. So McNeese is a very, very formidable football team. Outstanding on defense, second in the league to us in total defense. Offensively, they're 3rd in the league in total offense. Sam Houston they're averaging 600-something yards a game. We're behind them at about 475, and then right behind us is McNeese at around the 440 range. So they're very good on both sides of the football with a lot of great talent. The thing that's a little different defensively, McNeese last year, of course, was undefeated during the regular season, and that was their defense was outstanding. Had the #1 defense in the Southland Conference. Their head coach left and took the job at Louisiana Monroe. They moved the defensive coordinator up. So they lost a couple of staff members that went with them to McNeese. But defensively, they're running the same structure, and they're still really, really good on defense. Offensively, whereas McNeese has always been very hard-nosed, downhill, running the football type team, this year they've got they're lining up in a lot of the same sets with some of the same players, and they can still very effective at running the football. But what they're doing this year, their quarterback has already thrown for more yards than they threw for all of last year, so they can really throw the football this year. Their quarterback's very efficient, does a great job of protecting the football, very accurate. They've got some outstanding receivers. They've got some guys on the outside that can go. Ed Ogeron, the guy who was just named the interim head coach at LSU, his son is a true freshman. He's one of their top targets right now, and he's really, as the season has progressed each week, he's becoming more and more of a main target. Really good football player, and he returns punts for them. Very heady football player. So they've got a real good receiving core. They've got a back, two brothers playing running back. One of them's about 185, 190, and is a speed guy. Then the little brother, who is actually the biggest, he's a 260-pound back. They bring him in and let him hammer the football. So they've got some weapons offensively, and as traditionally strong on defense. All-American nose guard. They've got a young man that transferred in from Texas A&M a year ago. That was a five-star recruit. Played at Texas A&M, had a little situation, and has been at McNeese, and is a really good football player there in the middle. So our guys are very excited about the opportunity to go down there and play these guys. We have a lot of respect for McNeese and what they've been able to accomplish over the years, and they're a good football team this year. So we're excited about the opportunity to go play them. Understand that they're a good football team, but really looking forward to this opportunity to go down there and come back victorious.